You can have any type of life that you want. I don't know when people got it into their heads that they need to follow some directions when it comes to their life, or they need to live like anybody else lives, or they need to follow a certain way of doing things. When you can learn how to distance yourself from everybody and be very independent mentally, you become free. And true freedom happens in the mind. It doesn't happen in anything else. It doesn't happen in money. It doesn't happen in business. It doesn't even happen in purpose. True freedom happens in the mind, and it happens when we decide to be free and when we decide to be happy. There was a quote that I read that said, "You are building your happiness, but while you are building your happiness, do not forget to be happy." And I thought about that because I have experienced that. I've experienced working really hard and waiting for my happiness, postponing my happiness, And I'm somebody that if I am happy, it's like the world is happy because that energy is so strong. And I invite like good energy to me when I'm happy. But when I'm negative, because my energies are so strong, I attract negativity to me as well. So I've experienced also bringing chaos to myself, So I'm here to tell you guys that the mind is the most powerful tool that we have. And if you can learn how to use your mind, you have everything. Because it is within the mind that creation happens. And I was talking to a friend yesterday, and we were talking about reality. And they were like, well, reality is constant, but for each individual, for each person, there's a different reality, but all animals have the same reality. And I thought, really? Is that true? Because birds do not have the same reality as lions or bugs or algae. Like all living beings have levels of interpretation of reality. And so for no two living beings is reality the same. It's just not the same for any two living beings. It's different for every living being. So then that posed the question, okay, what is the grander reality? Is there a constant to reality? And I said, yes. And they said, what is it? And I said, it's God. God is the constant of reality. When you tap into God, which we are God, but that's a different story in and of itself. And it's not definitive. Like, it doesn't end there. We are God's children. So we have been granted the ability to see from God's perspective and to live that way. But that's a different story that I can elaborate on in a bit. But I answered, God is a constant reality, because when we tap into God frequency, when we tap into pure unalloyed joy, when we tap into devotion, and it's called bhakti, it's unconditional love, and it's unconditional love for God. It's a very pure state of being. It's a state of consciousness. And this state of consciousness affects everything else in our lives when we adopt it. Suddenly we can literally live on heaven, on earth. And it's possible to do so with the eyes of bhakti, with the mindset of bhakti. And so I was introduced to bhakti yoga like fresh out the womb. Like when I was born, I was studying like the Vedas at like a very young age. But I grew up like a normal kid without any spiritual knowledge, because eventually you get indoctrinated into like the school systems and such, and you kind of forget this transcendental knowledge. And so what happened with me is that I became very depressed. Because I couldn't find meaning in life. I could not find any meaning to anything. I could not find any purpose to life. I was so purposeless, to the point where I would just allow things to bother me, to just come into my mind and bother me. I spent the whole summer at 15 years old being quite like depressed. To extremes, and that's just, it's everyone's like story. Like everybody gets depressed. It's just some people may get depressed earlier on in life, so I was 15 having existential questions like, what is the meaning of life? And then I got into partying because I needed an escape and I needed to find joy in life, and then eventually I got so depressed that I said, okay, enough is enough. And somebody actually told me, Seema, you need to find God. And they just like said it casually to me, but I took it as a sign, and I said, you want to know what? I am going to find God. And so I went home, and I read every single spiritual book that I had, and I locked my phone in my closet, and I started meditating. And it wasn't like I just started randomly meditating. I actually um, came across this one video that kickstarted my entire meditation like journey, or what I was like. I meditate all the time now, every day. Um, and that video was a video from Meditative Mind on YouTube, and it was the crown chakra meditation. And I listened to it just randomly. I think it just popped up randomly, and it changed my life, because I felt a shift in me, like energetically first, and then over time, many years of like consistent practice of meditation resulted in my whole physiology changing, my whole psychology changing, like everything. So it's effective. Meditation is very effective. And what it does is it allows for you to kind of like disconnect from your reality, which we create, right? But if you're not aware that you're creating reality, then you get lost in the sauce, and you begin to not have a stable like life raft to hold on to, because you're just like things are happening to you, or like you think life is happening to you, right? So what you need is to get out, to step out of your reality, right? So meditation is very effective in allowing for you to do this. And people think that escaping reality is negative, or delusion is negative. Delusion and escapism are extremely important for spiritual development, and I'm going to tell you why. When you can do so in a healthy way, you can actually train your mind to sit in the God state, and to begin to morph your reality according to that high energy of love, according to that high energy of bhakti. Um, and so when you do this, you actually do change. You change your personality, and all these things happen over time. But first, what changes are your thoughts. First, your thought patterns change. And first, you're no longer stuck in scintillating thought patterns of fear, right? And because why? Because now you are attaching to love within meditation. And so when you do this more and more, you'll notice like your energy shifting, your heart will begin to expand. It'll connect with different points of the body, the chakras of the body. You'll notice yourself becoming more aligned. You can become more focused. You can actually maximize your intelligence. You can become quite intelligent. Um, it is a myth that we only use like 10% of our gray matter. Well, yeah, maybe you do if you are stuck on robot mode, and if you are stuck on automative mode, and if you just repeat thought patterns, repeat cycles, repeat activities, right? Then yeah, you are on bot mode. And everybody pretty much is on bot mode, and everybody can disconnect from bot mode and come back to who they really are. And I give you the formulas to do so, both in my YouTube videos and in my course, which I just launched. And like, it's important to know what information to consume, and that's why I'm here to help you guys. I want people to not have to suffer as much as life already may make you suffer. I want people to heal. I want people to feel happy, and I want people to know what happiness is. Happiness is not dopamine. It's not quick dopamine fixes. Happiness is actually tuning into who you are. It's tuning into your soul, and it's living from the soul. And this type of education is like not taught anywhere. But that's why CEOs recently got into meditation over the past 4 years, and there are like blog posts on like every single Fortune 500 company's website about meditation, right? Why? Not because it's new or new age, but because it's very ancient and it works. And we have to revert as a society truly back to simplicity, back to what has worked, what does work, right? We overcomplicate our lives, and we wonder why we are depressed or purposeless. Well, it's because of the stimuli that has been imposed upon us. It's because of conditioning. And it's up to us to change that, and to retrain how we interact with the world around us, and to retrain how we create reality, how we judge ourselves, how we judge other people, how we think of the human body, right? Are we thinking of it as something to glorify? Are we sexualizing the human body, right? This is like foolish, right? So just understand that we are above our senses. We are above the mind. We just don't know it. And so our lack of awareness of self keeps us stuck in toxic loops, right? Of needing constant gratification, sense gratification, which results in karmic loops, which results in thought patterns that are looping, that keep us stuck in certain like mindsets, right? Because a mindset is just a collection of thought patterns. So when you can hack your thought patterns, you can hack the mindset, right? So when you break it down in this way and you understand what everything is, right, then you can begin to discern as an intellectual, spiritual, eternal being, as a child of God, you can begin to discern what needs your attention, what information needs your attention, and what doesn't. And this also has to do, by the way, guys, with like the English language and like etymology. Like if you study other languages, you'll notice just how different English is from other languages. Arguably, English is like the most complicated language to learn because there are so many different words that mean like the same thing, and then there's so many of the same words that mean different things. So to a foreigner who is attempting to learn English, it can be very daunting, especially if they're like above a certain age, you know. So understand that the English language has been orchestrated in such a way that the consciousness is kept at a certain frequency so that we cannot be overjoyed at who we are, because we are communicating in a way that is limited by etymology, right? So think about that as well. So random yap, just wanted to put you guys on to some of my thoughts, and I love you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment down below how you enjoyed it, what you got from this video. I would love to know. Subscribe to this channel for more. I want you guys to turn on my bell for post notifications. It's on the upper right hand corner, because YouTube's algorithms are constantly changing, and I don't want you guys to miss an update from me, especially when you may need it the most, or like a message from me when you may need it the most. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.